Hello, this is PWAP back with a new episode of DSPisms, and a quick recap to make sure everyone is up to speed on what we're doing here today. We'll be nitpicking DSP for some egregious mispronunciations, ridiculous conflations, and the most idiotic of idioms, as they say. And Phil says that a lot, as they say, but it's pretty unclear who they are. I can only assume they are Captain Morgan and his first mate, Jack Daniels. Nope. I'm sorry. Alcoholism and addiction are serious, and they are not things to be made fun of. Except in Phil's case, where it's pretty righteous because he guilt trips his audience into feeding him alcohol under the guise that he's a recovered alcoholic who has control over it. And that's just super manipulative. So fuck you, Phil, since I know you're listening. You've done a significantly good job of avoiding my favorite buzzwords. Let's see if you can remember how to drain your dragon as well. And that's enough with shoutouts, even though I'd say it's more of shouting out Phil. Let's get into the first clip. It's pretty relevant about his pre-order for the Switch 2.
What is going on, everyone? On today's show, we've got a much more consistent schedule incoming where we can finally set what we're doing each day this week after the chaos that was yesterday. Plus, we've got updates on all the games that I played yesterday, including a shockingly interesting indie game that I'd never heard of before, but ended up being a really awesome late night chill stream. Today, much laid back fun, lots of interaction and chill hangout style sessions of vibe. Not too much crazy stuff to cover, which is always a good thing. So get ready to enjoy the waves of the beach as we jump back into Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. And am I going to get Switch 2 on launch day? It says, asks DJ and DJ. I'd like to. We don't know anything about it yet, right? It's going to be, April 2nd. They're going to do the big announcement, the expose about it, explaining the launch titles, the launch window, how to pre-order, etc. I 100% would like to pre-order it that day. I don't know if I'll be able to. We'll find out, right? Oh, let's see here. Dumpy Koala says, would you ever create a DSP Clips YouTube channel, or do you already have one? So here's the deal, all right? We talked about this actually many months ago when I started getting more notoriety and prominence because I was on Kino Casino. And people were like, your problem is your channel's overflooded right now. We would like maybe highlights. So I said, well, number one, the problem is making the highlights because that's extra work for me. And number two, where do you put them, right? And we actually talked about the possibility of actually doing a channel of highlights. All right. We dabbled in this idea. Here's the problem with that idea. In order to do a highlights channel, I would have to start up the channel fresh. I would have to start uploading the highlights on them daily. That channel would have to get a certain amount of subscribers and a certain amount of viewers before I would be able to monetize it. Oh. So Ellipsian says, in the main menu of the beta, there's a terms of service, but no NDA. So Ellipsian has entered the code and says there is a terms of service in the game. What does it say in the game? That's what we all have to go by. If you actually install the game and you boot it up and there's a terms of service, that's what we all have to abide by. So what does it say there? Not on the fucking Japanese pocket page of a Reddit posted website. I want to know what it says in the fucking software itself. Can anyone answer that question logically with intelligence and facts instead of nonsensical rumor on the fucking internet? It drives me nuts that these people are so fucking dumb that they believe the shit they hear on the internet.
And in case you were wondering what the answer was to his question, which I know you weren't anyways, he wasn't supposed to stream it, but he did anyways, and there was no consequences because, of course, there weren't. We take a quick reprieve from his toxicity to read off a couple of the ones I wasn't able to find in PigPigo but had in my notes, including Mainland Hawaii, Misread It Backwards, Fast Forward to a Decade Ago, In Condition to That, Do You Want to Get Slammed on the Back End? My Back is Broken, My Guts Are Destroyed, Staring Straight, Looking in a Direction, Then they just start pounding on you. At First Sound, and finally, a sympathetic ear to cry on.
A good day of streaming for sure. I had a good time. I hope that you guys did too. And we did get some good support today. We didn't hit 2 goals, but we did hit 1. So now we're at 28 out of 30. Now here's the thing. This lies us in a weird position because now I can't really tell you what the schedule is because it depends on support. If we don't hit any goals tomorrow, we're going to do Call of Duty Black Ops 6, where I'm going to be actually messing around with these new Ninja Turtle weapons that apparently have been unlocked in the game. Yes, they added the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and their melee weapons are apparently now in the game as melee build weapons. So that'd be pretty neat. Yeah, to get back to Jinx, yeah, we totally got rid of the accessories like the vest, the hat, the glasses. It became very intrusive. A lot of people were, again, oh, is he going to hit the vest goal? Is he going to do this? Like, I don't care about the vest. You know, I don't care about it at all. Like, I just want to have a good stream. I just want to be able to relax and, you know, not play dress up for people every day. And let's be honest, the trolls always making a field day about it and shit like that. I'm very glad we phased that stuff out this year. I still have it. If there's a special occasion, there's a reason to wear a hat or a vest or put on the gunner glasses, I very well could do so. I literally still have it right here. At any point, I could do it, but yikes. You're just going to have to keep hitting refresh. It's not a DDoS, because if it were a DDoS, my modem would be turning off and on, and that's not happening. It's issues with the internet lines today, which we haven't had this happen all week, so it must be something going on today with my ISP. It's annoying. We're missing some sub shout-outs for Dumpy Koala. Okay. Well, if I can get my internet to work, I'll check. Sucks. If you're watching on demand, yeah, my internet is crapping out. It went from green to yellow to red to yellow again, and it's just all over the place. So now I got to sit here and wait for my internet to solidify to play games again. How fucking stupid. Ugh. So what do you guys want to talk about while I wait for my internet to come back? Few hours, the main character of the first game dies. Okay, and he was everyone's favorite character, and he's just eliminated. And then the story becomes a two-sided story of one person who was the villain, but telling her backstory, and you're being forced to play her story to understand her. And then the revenge story of Ellie, the essentially surrogate daughter or whatever of Joel, you know, and how she's going to get revenge for his murder. So it's a very, very brutal, dark, not very pleasant story about two people trying to get revenge and trying to kill each other and many others along the way. So already it's controversial. Like, really, the story is highly controversial.
And as much as I'd like to let him keep cooking about those incredibly nuanced takes about the plot for The Last of Us 2, I gotta cut him there because I don't want to hear any more of it. And I have to point out that she is not his surrogate daughter. If you know what a surrogate is, you know that has nothing to do with the story of The Last of Us and has nothing to do with Ellie. But who am I to criticize Phil? He's an expert in families. This is PWOP signing off with another episode of DSPisms. Catch you all in the next one.